To get the Minnesota 150 underway, we will go trackside for the most famous words in motorsports.
And gentlemen, start your engines!
As the engines come to life, here at Elko Speedway in Elko, Minnesota, let's take a quick look at the West Series point standings. After 3 events, Mike David a 70-point advantage over Tim Woods III, his best start of the year. Jason Bowles, look at how strong that rookie contender is, currently 3rd in points. Johnny Borneman, a great effort there. Andrew Myers also. Albert Covington struggles really to get in the top 5 in points right now.
It really is, and look at Ryan Foster, struggled here in qualifying, did not make the race here today. Alex Haas, another one. Tim Woods, he's been on fire here also all year, and again, he's starting in the back.
3 top 10 finishes for Tim, but he had to take one of the provisional to get in the field tonight at the Elko Speedway. Really had played havoc. 16 cars went home. Here's how the E-Series point standings came into the race, and Joey Logano winning at Greenville Pickens.
Yep, these 2 youngsters on fire, Sean Case, Joey Logano, they have really been hot this year, and again, when a team gets that roll going, that motivation, they're unstoppable.
And Logano from Middletown, Connecticut, now calls Charlotte area his home. He's a Joe Gibbs development driver, but he also won earlier this year in the NASCAR West Series at Phoenix International Raceway.
Phoenix, absolutely. He's just been, again, he's been on fire. Joe Gibbs racing at the helm. He's got good people behind him, and again, to be successful in this sport, you have to have successful people, and that's exactly what Joey Logano's got.
And Joe Logano will be in the starting field of 30 cars tonight at Elko Speedway. Sean Case will lead the fields of green for Andy Santerre Motorsports. Brian Eichler, best start this year, had been 13th till now. He qualifies outside row 1.
Struggled all year, but again, made some changes and went in the right direction. Look at young Jeffrey Earnhardt starting 3rd here today. What an outstanding qualifying effort for him.
Joey Logano will start 4th. Looking back, Mike Olson, former series champion, really is trying to find his handle on things. Richard Jarvis, an emerging driver as well, we'll tell you more about tonight. A little bit of a home track advantage for Tim Schendel from Wisconsin, racing the Busch East Series. And 16-year-old Mark Davis for Joe Gibbs lines up in row 4.
Jamie Hayes, another Hendricks driver, development driver. This youngster's going to go places. Jesus Hernandez, again, 2 strong qualifying efforts for these youngsters.
Peyton Sellers, the 2006 national champion, 2005 national champion in the weekly series competition, here in the only race car he owns. And Rogelio Lopez, the 2006 NASCAR Mexico champion, in the field tonight.
Bill McAnally racing. Moses Smith starting on the 7th row inside. Eric Holmes, he's been on fire here in this series before, and again, he's not quite started up as far as he'd like to, but watch him through the course of the night.
And as we look through this all-star field here tonight at Elko Speedway, we see Jason Bowles, 3rd in points, leading Sunoco Rookie of the Year standings in the West Series coming into tonight. And way back here, 2 favorites I thought coming in, Matt Koblock and Mike David in row 9.
2 veterans. These guys are wise veterans. They've been in the series. Mike David, he kind of hangs around there to the end, and then he strikes right at the last quarter of the race. So look out for Mike David here tonight.
Andrew Myers out of California lines up next to Alex Haas. Alex had a great run. Only 1 car tonight for that group. Jamie Dick is on the crew tonight, but Alex Haas the lone representative for that team from the West Coast. Brian Chu back here, 3rd in the points coming in tonight, and Mike Duncan had 3 straight poles in the West Series. Come here, he's back in the field.
Amazing. This just shows you how tough this field is and how tough this series has gotten. Mike Duncan, been Mr. Pole Sitter all year, to come here and start 24th. He said, man, we're getting an education here tonight.
And we take a look at the provisional starters. Again, that's based upon last year's points for the Busch East Series and current points for the NASCAR West Series to make up the 30 starters. The last 3 rows saved for the provisionals, including Tim Woods, as we mentioned, 2nd in points in the West Series coming in tonight. The signal is 1 to green at the Minnesota 150 on HDNet. History in the making. 2 races in 3 days in Middle America, bringing both the NASCAR Grand National Division Series together. These divisions for the first time in season, racing for points, racing for glory here in Minnesota. Pace car is off. Andy Santerre's team with Sean Case, the driver, and Bill McAnally representing the West Coast early on here as we're about to get green in the Minnesota 150. Sean Case gets the jump down into turn 1 with a great start. And he'll go right up top as he predicted. He said, I want to get up top early, and he did just that, Dan.
Eichler filed single file. Again, these guys have got to get some heat in these tires. There is 2 grooves at this racetrack. You can run on the high side and the bottom. Different drivers chose different grooves here in the course of the day in practice. But young Sean
Spin
Case.
at turn 1.
Oh!
Jarvis goes around. Richard Jarvis just taps the front nose of the 91 car over in turn 2 for an early. No caution yet, and the caution does come out now. So mid-pack scramble. These guys trying to find the racing line again. None of these teams have been to this facility before, Dan.
No, unfortunately, again, everybody's fresh here. Teams have to find a setup. The drivers have to get settled in. They're this early in the race. Again, Jarvis just getting turned around there early. Unfortunate for him. Jarvis started 6th here tonight. Possibly no major damage to that car. Just got some, looks like quarter panel damage in the left rear.
Let's take another look. He gets on the bottom. It looks like one car may have scraped the grass border there, the inside bumper, the inside railing, I should say. Just taps left in the grass and sends the field scattering.
Yep, unfortunately, it looked like possibly the inside car got in a little bit hot, locked up the left front brake. That happens a lot here on the short tracks. Once you lock the brakes up on these cars, you lose the nose. Slid right up into young Richard Jarvis Jr.
Jarvis finished 23rd at Greenville Pickens out of Ocean City, Maryland in the Herring Creek Buildings Hudson Chevrolet. He'll have to start the tail, of course, by being involved in the caution flag.
Got a long way to go here if he uses his head. He's had a good car here all day, and he's able to run on the bottom and also up in the middle groove, so if he could just be patient, pick his way through the end, he could be back up front here before the night's end.
And Dan, we mentioned here at the Minnesota 150, 150 consecutive laps, and the West Series drivers are racing really in their own point category. The NASCAR Busch East Series is also racing in their own point category. It all adds up to who's going to win, but if a West Series driver wins, the Busch Series driver finishes highest, gets that first place point money.
Exactly, Jim, and a driver has to use his head because of that fact. You're not just racing to win. You don't have to win the race here to finish, come out of here first in points in your series. If you're running second or third and you're leading all your guys and you're from your series, again, that's what you have to do. You have to use your head. You have to be consistent. You have to look at the big picture here.
And Sean Case is doing just that as he again is leading laps here. But think about this. If he wins this race, he'll get first place points. And to clarify, if a West Series driver finishes second, he'll be awarded first place West Series points. So as we get later on in the race, will it be a matter of going forward or not? Johnny Borneman here with damage on the front nose of the Twisted X Boots Ford. Dan, what do you think that's going to do to the race car?
Yep, it looks like it may cause a little bit of overheating problem. You see on the grill, the grill's a little smushed, but it looks like it all appears to be open, still wide open. See the back of Mike Duncan's car, possibly getting in the back of the 9 car of Mike Duncan on the start, the initial start there. So early in the race to be having that kind of contact.
And Mike Duncan, of course, you can see he's running the steel body. There's a choice in this division, a composite body made out of fiberglass or a steel body. Mike Duncan has gone with the steel. You can see it's pulled away there. The Lucas Oil Chevrolet. This is the first time this season Mike Duncan has not started on the front row inside of a NASCAR Grand National race. So that may be a telling sign. Back in 24th position. This could be the sign of things to come for Mike Duncan if he doesn't keep it clean.
Well, Mike, he's not used to starting this far back. You're exactly right. Normally he's up there on the pole. Let me tell you, as a driver, there's no better picture to be right up front early in the night because it gives you confidence. You don't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about the beating and banging. But as you see, Mike Duncan's already got a little left rear corner damage. NASCAR may call him in to come pull that off there. So we'll just have to listen to what NASCAR says. If it looks like it's attached really well and it doesn't cause any damage and it may not cause any debris on the racetrack, NASCAR will not bother him. They will leave him out there.
All right, we'll see how Mike Duncan, the two-time series champion, will fare on this restart. Again, early on here in the Minnesota 150, Sean Case has the lead. Every restart will be double file, so he will start inside number 16 of Brian Eichler. How the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet qualified is how he will restart this race. As we have officially counted off 7 laps.
Yep, these
and
guys.
Richard Jarvis has come back off the pit road. He just beat the pace car out, so he'll stay on lead lap as the pace car rolls in this tight 3/8 mile. They pit all the way around the inside of this racetrack, but you don't want to find yourself on pit road to have a chance to win, do you, Dan?
No, you don't. You'll get a lap down here in a hurry.
Double file restarts in the Grand National Division has added a whole new level of excitement. Call is made, the green flag wave.
They're all around.
Eichler a bit sideways off of turn number 2, trying to find how high that second groove is at this early stage in the event. Will run second in the 16.
Eichler's got a really good race car, and these 2 or 3 guys up front right now, they have to be patient. They have to tame themselves and say, hey, let's not race this early. I'm sure the spotters are talking to these drivers saying, get single file, get in line, set a good pace, get some heat in the tires, get away from some of that pack. And that looks like exactly what these top 3 cars are doing right now.
And the third car in the frame, the 10 of Joey Logano. And
the 11 car, Jeffrey Earnhardt, gets turned around, causes a pile-up.
Justin Lofton also involved. The 43 of Tim Schendel may have something to do with that, as Jeffrey Earnhardt qualifying a career best third in the NASCAR Grand National Division. Just his second start in the series. The 17-year-old, 4th-generation racer caught up in the accident. Dan, let's take another look.
We got a replay. Looks like they drive down in the corner. The 4 car gets down on the bottom. Looks like Jeffrey Earnhardt may get punted by the 52 car of Jamie Hayes. Just gets a little bit loose and gets turned around. Unfortunate. Again, when you drive down in the corner there, the car is super light, just a bad place to get tapped there going down in the corner.
One more chance. These guys are coming a whole lot faster to turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like Hayes gets in the back of Jeffrey Earnhardt, but it's just hard to tell, whether Jeffrey slowed down too fast or maybe Hayes just drove in the corner a little bit and got back in his bumper. Unfortunately, this early in the night.
And you can see the damage on Earnhardt's number 11 DEI Chevrolet. Development driver for that division. He had to go through quite a bit, a GM test, to get the chance to get a development contract, and they are teamed with Andy Santerre in this division. So great equipment, great leadership. His dad, Kerry, is here tonight as well. And I asked Kerry before the race, "You going to be spotting?" He said, "No, I'm just going to be yelling at him."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he won't have a whole lot to say about that one.
No,
Jeffrey
exactly. There was really
it.
nothing you could do there. Unfortunately, like you said, talk to Kerry, and he just said he's going to try to be here to guide him.
We're going to take a break and step away from Elko, Minnesota. NASCAR Grand National Division Racing here on HDNet. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Minnesota 150 on HDNet. After 13 of 150 laps, Sean Case is the leader. Richard Jarvis just ahead of those guys on pit road. Brian Eichler starting in the second position, remains there as we're under caution for the second time tonight, involving Jeffrey Earnhardt and a number of other drivers as they spun in turns 1 and 2. Jeffrey Earnhardt's been down pit road. Let's check in the pits now with Natalie Taylor.
Hey guys, well I just spoke with the guys over at DEI, the chiefs and the crew from Jeffrey Earnhardt, and basically they said it's not that big of a deal, just a cause of cold tires. Although the race didn't start out as well as they would like, this crew is not worried at all. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Natalie. A number of teams have elected to come down pit road, including Mike Duncan. We showed you the damage on the left rear of his Lucas Oil Chevy earlier. Alex Haas is also down pit road. The hood is up on his car, and you see the damage there, Dan. How much is that going to affect it? This is not a super speedway, but that is aerodynamically not where you want to be on this sort of a racetrack.
Yeah, it is. Jim, we do make downforce on that left front fender, so this is going to hurt the car just a little bit, but more importantly than anything, they've got to come back in and cut the bottom of that valance off that left front, that piece dragging on the racetrack, because that won't last there for any amount of time. If it stays there, then it will come off, and it'll eventually have to come in. You see Mike Duncan here. That's
the 88.
Not Mike Duncan. That is a 88 car peeling the pieces off of it. That's Alex Haas, I guess.
They've had their share of issues, Dan, and unfortunately that overheating issues last race. Here they get involved in an incident early. You see the air box. That's that silver panel just popping off. It brings and channels air into the radiator, and that's a critical component as well. And these guys have a long night ahead of them. Unfortunately, the Motorway Auto Group Chevrolet, for Alex Haas, protege to Kyle Busch. Kyle's involved with this team. I'm certain he's watching tonight and looking at the efforts of Alex Haas. He's been fast. He didn't qualify that great, but he's always been a really good race driver.
No, he's always been a contender, so unfortunate night for Alex Haas. He's pretty much used up. See the 11 car coming back around. They've got to cut that lower valance off the left front of that car to get that from dragging it around, because that will eventually break and possibly cut that left front tire. So they do still have a little bit more work to do on the 11 car of Jeffrey Earnhardt.
And Earnhardt again competing in the Busch East Series full-time this year, his first touring series. This is his first race at a track he's not been to before, whether it be in a lower division or a track he's tested at. So truly a test of his will and patience, really, on this racetrack. It's worn thin early on here, unfortunately. After qualifying third, Jeffrey Earnhardt, the 17-year-old son of Kerry Earnhardt, is on the pit road once again. He was part of our second caution here at Elko Speedway.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's important for them to get him some seat time here also. Even though he may get a little bit behind, may lose a lap or two, but seat time is so important in this series for these youngsters.
Now let's check in with Natalie on two-time champion Mike Olson for an update. Natalie?
Actually, guys, we're talking about Mike Duncan, who right now is not starting off the race too hot. But ironically enough, they had talked about the plan tonight for the number 9 team being endurance. See, Mike started 3 for 3 of the Bud poles before tonight's race, and he almost qualified 24th tonight. So this team is hoping that endurance plan will kick in and they'll see some success here later in the race. And ironically enough, Jim and Dan, Bill Sedgwick, his crew chief, he is a 2-time champion of this series. So in my opinion, if Mike listens to him, they could have a good race plan. Back up to you guys.
He's one of the best. Bill Sedgwick is up in the spotter stand. He's calling the shots. They've got Bubba on pit road helping out, so they know what's going on for sure.
They really do. And Natalie, like you say, experience with this team. Mike Duncan, he's got, right at 90 starts in this series. He's been around a long time. He knows how to get around. He's a thinking type of race car driver. He looks at the big picture. He looks at championships. So if a win is out of the picture here tonight, he will not tear his race car up to forfeit that. He will hang out there, try to get a good top 10 finish, and bring it to the next race.
But his veteran crew, led by Robert Bubba Dernbach, are not going to be giving up. This car could very well be in the hunt for the championship run here tonight at Elko Speedway. He's one of many cars already early on here that have suffered some damage. We saw Tim Woods just ahead of him, who's second in points coming in tonight. Duncan back in 8th in the standings, hasn't had the greatest start to the season. That doesn't mean he's out of the hunt for the win here tonight yet.
No, you're exactly right. He's got just sheet metal damage to that car right now. As you see, a lot of sheet metal pulled, battered on that race car. But as long as it stays off these tires, it really won't affect the handle of this race car that much here.
All right, they're pulling the belts back down where you get the signal now. The pace car lights have been extinguished. We're at Elko Speedway, a 3/8 mile oval. One of 2 races on the weekend, bringing together the NASCAR Busch East Series and NASCAR West Series for the first time in regular season run. Racing for championship points. Sean Case and the 16 of Brian Eichler will once again lead the field back to green as we're about to get underway once again on the Minnesota 150.
Okay, let's get ready. Ready. Green. Outside.
Sean Case not able to break free this time for Brian Eichler. His spotters still telling him that he's got a visitor on the upper groove, and Eichler continues to run the high line. Case now just clears him. In the hunt is the 61 of Mike Olson, the Little Tree Chevrolet. Right in the middle of it, Olson was really conservative. He said, I always kind of lay back, but he's not laying anything out right now, Dan, except 100% going forward.
No, and Mike Olson, he's a bottom feeder, guys. He likes to run on the bottom of racetracks. No matter where he's at, you'll see Mike Olson more times than not running on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's where he's the fastest at. It may not show early in the run, but late in the run, he's really good on the bottom of the racetrack.
Stalking the lead pair, Mike Olson now joined by the white number 83, Strutmasters.com Chevrolet for Peyton Sellers. As the lead battle heats up, Sellers is up to 4th.
Peyton, hard charger here this early in the race. Started 11th in this field here today, all the way up to the 3rd, 4th position. Man, what a charge for Peyton Sellers.
Sean Case has a different race car right now. He's not able to use that upper groove. He's got to come to the middle, and now it leaves the door open again for Brian Eichler, who's going to try to take the lead for the first time tonight. Case again, looking in the corners, Dan. Tell me if there's something that's not just right in that race car.
Well, it has a little trouble turning right down through the center of the corner. You see, he drives down in good here, but right through the center here, he's not able to pick up the gas. Talking to Andy Santerre, he said, Dan, we made big changes to this race car because we felt we did not have the car to win the race. In practice, Andy Santerre knew that Sean Case was going to struggle in the race. They made major changes, so they may have to tweak and dial in on this car. We'll just have to keep an eye on Sean, just see how it works out.
Harry Norcross and the boys, the Little Tree Chevy crew did the right call as well. They did not change a whole lot after qualifying. It was an impound event. They couldn't change anything after qualifying. And Mike Olson looks to the point here in the Little Tree Chevrolet.
Here's a spotter of Mike Olson talking to Mike, saying clear all around. That's what you want to see. Again, Mike Olson just again, a bottom feeder. We make that turn for the driver that really stays low on the bottom of the racetracks. Again, Mike Olson, more times than not, a lot of these short tracks, he really likes running on the bottom.
Mike Olson started in the 5th position. The North Averill, New Hampshire driver showing the way now as Busch East drivers share the top 2 spots. Still in the hunt, the 16 of Brian Eichler. Right behind, Virginia's Peyton Sellers running in the 4th position. In 5th, the 10 of Joey Logano. As now a lead opens up by 3 lengths now down the backstretch for Olson.
Sean Case falling back a little bit. Again, these guys have got to settle in. Young Brian Eichler in his 16 car, just having a good run for that team. This is what that team needs. Bill and McAnally Racing talking to Bill. He said, man, we need some good runs to get the ball rolling, and that's exactly what they're having here tonight.
And the 54 of Tim Woods had body damage on the right front. It was scraping the racetrack and actually blew off and sits high out of the groove in turn 4. We see the damage on the Chino Hills Ford of Tim Woods out of Chino Hills, California. Again, 2nd in points tonight. Had to take a provisional. Not the way you want to start this long trek and 2 races in 3 days here in Minnesota and Iowa.
Now, Tim appears to be having a little bit of smoke actually coming out the right side tailpipe. Not sure if it's off the tire or the tailpipe. Looks like he's got big damage up on the fender, so it may just be the fender rubbing on the top of the tire, which could be bad, just depends on where it's at.
Debris caution now. The 30 of Jeff Anton is also making his way down. There's the debris flying off. Great camera work here on HDNet, getting off at turn number 4. That was the debris. That's what brought out our 3rd caution in the Minnesota 150.
Got a little piece of fender out of the right front coming off that car, and again, he's got to get that tire pulled off, that fender pulled off that tire so he does not pop a tire.
Whew, man, 30 cars made the field. It's been pressure-packed all day long. 46 cars took qualifying efforts. An all-star cast went home that did not make the race tonight. You see the running order across the HDNet scoring stripe on top of your screen, but thinking about the challenges for these drivers, and Tim Woods, again, had to take a provisional. Some of the West Series drivers like Jim Engelbrecht didn't have that opportunity, and he's going home. Under our third caution in the Minnesota 150 at Elko Speedway at 3/8 mile racetrack in Middle America. We'll be back after these messages on HDNet. Big news, Matt Kovala, very strong contender in the Busch E-Series, came down pit road, looked to be overheating. Natalie, what's the story on Alex Haas' number 88 car?
Well, guys, as you can tell, Alex Haas's car, the hood is off, and basically his radiator is what took the hit in that spin. So what they're doing, they're getting the new radiator in and want to get him back out on that track and compete for points. No matter where he finishes, they just want to be able to get some points tonight. Back up to you guys.
Back underway in the Minnesota 150, Mike Olson leading the field, but Sean Case now gets the upper groove and appears to be the preferred groove at this point in the race. Olson runs second. Peyton Sellers now challenging in third. Again, every race restart is double file in the NASCAR Grand National Division. And Sean Case took advantage of just that to grab the lead back.
Yeah, he did, but I tell you, the guy on the move is Peyton Sellers. He's got the race car. His car's really fast. He's just got to be a little bit patient here. He is working his way to the front one by one, picking these guys off. His car turns in the center of the corner. He's able to get back on that gas pedal. We'll have to keep an eye on that 83 car, Peyton Sellers.
And I asked Peyton before the race, I said, how many of the guys in your crew are part of your 2005 NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series championship team? He said, everyone stepped back in when I moved back home to Virginia. It's very satisfying. However, this is his only race car. This is the car he'll race in Iowa 2 days from now. So he's got to keep it clean, Dan.
Yeah, he does. And I tell you, the way he's racing right now, I don't think he's worried about it. He says, man, I got a good race car. I'm going to drive it. You see, he's able to drive right to the bottom of the track and really pick up that gas pedal. He's got a really good race car. Again, he's got to use his head. He's got to take care of these tires. Tire management's a big deal here tonight. We got to go 150 laps on the same set of tires. NASCAR says, guys, you're not changing any tires. The 4 tires you start the race with are the tires you're going to finish with. Unless you got a flat, we'll let you put a tire on that you used in practice. No use tires. So these guys have got to think tire management here tonight.
Mike Olson leads him in second. Here comes Peyton Sellers off of turn number 4. Ryan Eichler in the Napa Auto Parts number 16 runs just behind it. Joey Logano in the hunt in that number 10. The 16-year-old will turn 17 on May 24th, and man, is he impressive.
Yeah, he has. I talked to his team here earlier. This is a Busch car. It's a 105-inch wheelbase car. In this series, you're allowed to run a 105-inch wheelbase or a 110-inch wheelbase. The penalty you get for running a 105-inch wheelbase, because the car turns a little bit better down in the center of the corner, you have to weigh 50 pounds more. 3,300 pounds for the 105-inch wheelbase, 3,250 for the 110-inch wheelbase. This is a 105 car, turns good through the center of the race car, and that's exactly what he wants. And again, they said this is an old Busch car that Joe Gibbs' team had. They put back together, and it's been proven to be real good here tonight.
Ryan Eichler in fourth. We saw a little bit of red in the wheel well. I mean, the rotor's starting to heat up on the 16 at Ryan Eichler, the Napa Chevy. You see it starting to glow, Dan. This is pretty early on, isn't it?
Oh, you're exactly right. And what happens here is, again, we talked about it earlier. Oh, the 92 car gets turned around.
Mark Davis gets kissed by the 18 of Moses Smith,
man.
and the 81 of Brett Thompson stops and gets rear-ended on the backstretch. The Rich Thompson Trucking Chevrolet, Brett Thompson will have to come down pit road. Toughed up break for the 14 of Andrew Myers as well, and Moses Smith.
Wow, another Bill McAnally injured car. Again, he's been struggling here these past few races. Did not need this to happen here tonight.
If he was in line for luck, the only line open was bad luck for Moses Smith thus far this year. Let's take another look, Dan.
Here's a replay. Looks like, not sure who that is behind Mark Davis, the 99 car. Brian Chu gets in the back of Mark Davis. Looks like possibly, wow, looks like Moses Smith had nowhere to go, could not get stopped, and just creamed Mark Davis.
And that's the result. The 16-year-old driver development individual, Joe Gibbs Racing Oil. He's with Joe Gibbs Racing, just 16 years of age. Drive for Diversity graduate. He raced last year for Gibbs at Hickory in a late model, getting his big break here in the NASCAR Busch Grand National, Busch East Series shot. And we see Moses Smith, 4 straight races with difficulties for Smith out of Arizona, trying to get a complete race in. He's not had that yet tonight.
No, unfortunate for him. And again, Brian Chu just got in the back of him and not sure what actually happened there. Sometimes a guy in the front has to come out of the gas pedal, and these cars are racing so close, it's really hard for the guy behind you to get out of the throttle. So this is short track racing. There's just really nothing you can do. See the crew trying to get the hood down on that race car, get it pushed down and get it out of the way so they can get back him underway so possibly not lose a lap. Don't appear that he's losing water out of the radiator, but man, he took a big whack on the nose of this car. I'm real surprised there's no water leaking out of the bottom of this, but must have had a big bumper on this car.
And the team does not want to lose a lap. The pit is in the inner circle of this 3/8 mile, so they sent him back out. No doubt he'll be coming back down pit road. A shower of debris on the backstretch. We see fenders flying. We see Moses Smith stopped upside the backstretch outer wall. So a lot of debris here to be picked up. We see the safety crew on the spot here in the Elko Speedway. which has been a NASCAR Whelen All-American Series track since 1985. It has 40 years of strong history of short track racing here in Minnesota. Again, we mentioned we're about 30 miles south of the Minnesota Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. And we're going to take a break and step away under our fourth caution of the Minnesota 150. NASCAR Grand National Division Racing on HDNet returns in just a moment. Fans are enjoying it here at Elko Speedway in Elko, Minnesota. We're under the red flag for track cleanup here at Elko Speedway. As they sit idle, Sean Case has lead over Mike Olson. Peyton Sellers, Brian Eichler, Joey Logano, your top five. Jesus Hernandez and Jamie Hayes are sitting just behind us. Sitting in a world of hurt right now. It's a red flag. Can't work on the car is 16-year-old Mark Davis for Joe Gibbs Racing. He actually raced in 2 Grand National West Series races this year and finished 12th at Greenville Pickens. And we see the 18 of Moses Smith on the hook, and unfortunately for that team, 4 for 4 in issues in the Grand National Division in the West Series. Again, combining efforts here this weekend, and unfortunately for him, he certainly has his work cut out for him to dig a hole, at least try to fill that hole back in.
Yep,
it's trying to gather up some points.
There you see Mark Davis sitting there again. Looks like possibly the radiator not being damaged on that car. That's the big issue right now. If they can tie up all these brake ducts and get some of that sheet metal pulled away so it don't fly off, Mark may be okay. Again, it did not look like they got into the suspension parts of this race car. This being a 3/8 mile track, the downforce will not affect it as much. Will make a little difference, but possibly he can continue on.
Well, currently on 8th on the racetrack and number 1 in the points in the NASCAR West Series in the Grand National Division is Mike David in the Bennett Lane Winery Ford. He's had 3 finishes, the top 3, leading the point standings heading into tonight. Earlier we had a chance to sit down with Mike David and tell you a little bit more about him. Let's see what he has to say about his efforts and his approach to NASCAR Grand National Division Racing.
Mike David, number 2, Bennett Lane Winery Ford Taurus. I don't get real excited or amped up in the race car, but it was fun racing Eric Holmes last year. He's only 10 miles down the road from our shop, and it seemed like every racetrack we went to, we were racing with him, whether it was for 8th at Monroe or 1st at Texas or whatever. But that's always fun. Always getting to the front, so first thing goes through your head, trying to get by that guy and see who's ahead of him, or whatever position you're in. Well, Stockton being our home track, in front of the home fans, family and friends, and everybody else. I mean, that was great. Last possible chance to win at Stockton. We accomplished that, so it was a lot of fun. Not a real emotional person, but I mean, relief. A lot of fast guys. So I mean, it's not over till the very last lap. So excitement, a little bit of relief. That's part of the fun. Second place isn't as fun as first, obviously, but and all the guys on the team work hard to win. It's not no one really settles for, oh great, we got 5th. Everybody's working hard to win. My family goes to all the close races. My dad, he gets a little nervous when he goes, so he stays home. He'll watch it on HDNet, but yeah, they go to most of the close ones and watch all the rest on TV. Yeah, Mario Isola is my crew chief. Larry Ream's my spotter. Mario was with us for the first time last year. Larry's been with us since my rookie year, so we've got a good team. So I'd say time management would probably be the hardest thing to juggle. I mean, just travel and logistics and everything takes so much time to get it done. But you can't. Everybody loves going to the races, so they don't mind spending the time doing it. So it makes it easy on all of us. We have the best bunch of guys, the best team. Bennett Lane Winery, we have the best wine to drink after the race, and it's just a blast. We all go and have a good time.
And Mike David sitting 8th on this restart. He's 40 years of age. He's not going to be a driver looking to race in NASCAR Nextel Cup someday, but boy, can he teach these youngsters how to race. He's consistent. He finished 2nd in points last year, putting together a great run early on for the championship run.
I can't say enough about Mike David. Just a gentleman race car driver would describe it best. Again, just a wise veteran, uses his head, and a gentleman race car driver. There's no other guy out there I think I'd rather be racing with than Mike David.
Let's check in with Natalie on a young man who's got a whole lot of racing ahead of him, Mark Davis.
Yeah, speaking of young guys, the number 92 team were frantically scrambling around during the red flag, trying to reset the toe. See, the first time he came in, they didn't quite get the alignment in the front fixed, so they are looking forward to getting their hands on the car again and hopefully getting it figured out. Back up to you.
Thank you, Natalie. As we roll the cars under this fourth caution period, we see Mark Davis still has some work to do on his car, but Natalie will be down there to keep an eye on things and keep an eye on what goes on up here as Dan Partis, Jim Trado, and Natalie Taylor out on pit road, and we find out that Jeffrey Earnhardt is going to be the beneficiary. Lucky Dog, it's called in some other circuits, and he will be escorted around the pace car to get one of his 2 laps back as the beneficiary.
Well, I've been watching Jeffrey, and he's got a real good race car, and again, he's just got to continue what he's doing there. If he does, he can get that other lap back and then be back on the lead lap here for the end, and it's so important here on a short track to be on the lead lap. So if Jeffrey uses his head, he's got good people talking to him. He's from that Andy Santerre stable. Kerry Earnhardt, sure, I'm playing part of it. Dad's out there talking to his son, saying, hey, use your head, keep cool, and he'll be there at the end. So that's important. That's exactly what he's doing. He just regained 1 lap. Good move, Jeffrey. Like the 18 car of Moses Smith is officially out. That car a little bit used up earlier there in that wreck.
And the 14 of Andrew Myers also behind the wall for the night.
Yep, been a couple cars here early. Jarvis Jr., unfortunate night for him. There we see the 92 car, Mark Davis again. These guys are trying to get the sheet metal off his car, get it out of the way. Now's the time to do it while we're under caution. Hopefully the front end didn't get bent on this car. Don't see him with any wrenches or a toe end gauge, so looks like it's all sheet metal, cosmetic damage at this point.
And Mark was a bit too eager to get down pit road. The crew started working before the red flag was lifted. He'll have to start at the tail of the field in the Joe Gibbs driven Racing Oil Chevrolet.
Well, there's really nothing wrong
Well,
with that.
I don't think he's going to be done yet.
Yeah, again, he's got to get in and pull this metal off his car. And he do not, you see the right front wheel not even moving at this point. Possibly it's just getting bound up. He's got to slow down and get around and get this fixed. Tire's not even moving. He's going to blow a tire. He's going to have to change the right front tire now. So unfortunate for him, he's going to have to bring that car back in.
Well, you mentioned how strong of a start he had, and what a composed young man. He's 12th in the Busch E-Series points. He finished second at Phoenix to his teammate Joey Logano in a West Series event earlier this year. Came to Kyle, Texas, started 13th and finished 12th and kept his nose clean. So as far as his advancement, boy, a lot more is going to come from Mark Davis in his young career.
Yep, again, he's got a long way to go, and unfortunate for him, he just get tied up in a little wreck early on here tonight. Not sure how good that race car is going to be now. Again, that front end possibly, the toe end possibly being knocked out of that car. They still got to set in. Probably going to be a few more laps here. We'll go to green, so we'll just see his crew get it back underway. Sheet metal wedged in there, locking that right front tire up. Crew's got to get that car up, put a new right front tire on at this point, and get them back underway.
See, the crew guys are all wearing the banquet uniforms. That's Joe Gibbs, a Busch Series sponsor, so a lot of these team members, as well as the drivers, are in the development mode. They may work over the wall. They may be the backup tire changer for a Busch team that Joe Gibbs may be running. They all get to compete and work together. It's quite an effort they have. Joey Logano and Mark Davis, both teammates for Joe Gibbs in a driver development mode in full-time in the Busch East Series this season.
Yep, exactly right. You see that right front tire appears to be locked up. May have gotten some metal wedged in there behind the brake rotor underneath it, and that's a tough break because they may have to take that tire off, but they got to get whatever's wedged in there, got to get that tire off that car and get that cleaned up. See, the tire changer going to pull a tire off. Hopefully he can spin the tire here. If he can spin the tire, then it'll be unwedged, because they put a new tire on and it's still wedged up. They're gonna have a problem with that new tire.
Dan, if you could go through the tire rule here tonight at Elko Speedway.
Well, you gotta race on the 4 tires that you have. No tire changes allowed unless you have a flat tire or a damaged tire. They've got to take that tire right now over to the NASCAR official. They've got to look at it and say, okay, we confirm this tire change, you're okay. The tire that they just put on that car, you see that tire with that orange tape, that's tires that were purchased today here in practice. You have to use the practice tires. You can't take a tire that you raced a week ago or a month ago and bring it here and put it on the car. It has to be a tire that was purchased here today, used for practice, to go back on the right side of that race car.
And as that team continues to go to work, the field circling through the oil dry on the racetrack. We're under our 4th caution flag of the Minnesota 150. Here at Elko Speedway, these teams pack up tonight. Some are leaving first thing as soon as they can pack up in the morning and head to Newton, Iowa, about 240 miles south of here for the big Iowa Speedway run on Sunday.
Yep, and again, that's what's exciting about this whole weekend here, this doubleheader. These teams, these drivers, again, were fired up. Except for Mark Davis, he's not too excited about it. He's got a door-up race car now. I'm sure they got another one in the trailer, so they'll pull the other one out here in Iowa.
Let's quickly check in with Natalie.
Hey guys, we're looking at Mark Davis in the number 92 car, and he is up for Rookie of the Year. Sunoco's Rookie of the Year this year, him and Joey Logano, both teammates. And ironically enough, last year, Sean Case was the young gun. And look, those 2 young guns this year aren't really affecting Sean. He's doing still out front of this race. Guys, back up to you.
Sean Case, just 21 years of age, but showing his veteran status in the NASCAR Busch East Series. Certainly a strong contender, now paired up with Andy Santerre for a second consecutive season.
Outside. Still there. Outside. Outside. Still there. Outside. Still there.
Meanwhile, trying the backstretch, the 16 of Blind Eye.
Oh, 83, Peyton Sellers gets turned around.
Cold tire situation just behind him was Joey Logano. The caution flag flies again.
Tough break for Peyton Sellers this early. Again, his car was so good, he was coming to the front. Not sure, don't see any damage or any type of wheel mark on the back of that car, or bumper mark. May have just got a little bit loose himself. Here's
one more
replay.
look, and let's see if that inside berm, that little bit of curbing, may have something to do with Peyton Sellers going around.
It was close. Looked like a dead car. Joey Logano may have just barely touched him. And again, when you get down in the corner there, that car is already light. You just need a little tap, drives down in the corner. Oh, looks like Logano was in the back bumper. Really, Peyton Sellers had nowhere to go. Sean Case right on his bumper, just nothing he can do.
Joey Logano guilty of getting involved in the 83 car, the Strutmasters.com Chevrolet for Peyton Sellers, sending him through the grass and back up the racetrack. Great job by everybody else to miss it.
Well, you're exactly right, Jim. That's what I was going to say. He did an outstanding job at keeping that car turned left, getting in the gas pedal to keep it running back, keep it from running back up the racetrack, keeping it out of traffic. No damage to that race car. If this youngster uses his head, he can be back up in front in no time.
Joey Logano here tonight. His father Tom, his mom Debbie are here tonight. He is a week away from turning 17 years of age. What a bright, bright future for this young man. Already a two-time winner this season in the NASCAR Grand National West Series. He won at Phoenix International Raceway. And the Busch East Series had one event thus far this season. Logano championed all of them at Greenville Pickens Raceway. Sean Case finished second in that one. So indeed, very strong start for Logano this season. Learning through the hard knocks, really, because he was under Peyton Sellers a lap prior. That time, he just didn't seem to have the patience for Sellers to get through the corner ahead of him.
Oh, you're exactly right. There was just nothing he could do. Again, listened to his spotter, and his crew chief said, really, hey, there was nothing you could do. It looks like that may have gotten slowed up a little bit of front end. Again, it's short track racing, but it's just a tough break because Peyton Sellers was running so well, but again, did not damage his car. Maybe he can work his way back up to the front.
We mentioned now, Jeff, how the 10 car of Joey Logano has been doing so well. Jeffrey Earnhardt actually finished 6th at Greenville Pickens. He made up a lap as the beneficiary. Another caution comes out. Jeffrey Earnhardt, with all that damage on the 11 DEI Chevrolet, gets the beneficiary again as the only car a lap down. So he'll get, or the first car a lap down, so he'll get back around and get the tail end and try to chase these guys on the lead lap.
Well, you're exactly right. We talked about that earlier. This being a short track, you know there's going to be cautions. Driver has to use his head, takes his crew chief, takes his spotter. Discipline, discipline. Take your time. Be cool. We got plenty of time left, and that's exactly what they've done. Jeffrey Earnhardt is now back at the tail end of the lead lap.
And Jeffrey, speaking of discipline, is still in high school. He's got a couple weeks left at Mooresville High School. He's a junior in high school in Mooresville, and he said, all the guys I work with at Andy Santerre's shop make fun of me because I sound different than they do. They're all from the north, and I'm right here from Mooresville.
Tough break, I tell you. Be one nice deal to still be in high school and be out here driving these Grand National cars. You know, these are Nextel Cup cars, Busch Series cars. These cars are top quality stuff. Good horsepower. These motors make some 625 horsepower. Really good, strong engines. Man, what a thrill it must be at that age to drive one of these race cars.
And there is a choice. You mentioned engines. There's a choice here in the series now. There's a purpose-built engine, and now as of middle of last year, as of August 14th of last year, there's called a spec engine available for these drivers.
Yep, Carl Wagner in conjunction with NASCAR designed a spec motor. They call it. It's an aluminum block motor. It's an aluminum head motor. It makes 625 horsepower. And the big advantage of that motor is that it turns less RPM, but makes as much horsepower as the open motors, like 1,000 RPM, which is big on the drivetrain, makes a big difference. The motors last longer. The cost of these motors, $22,000 complete. Race ready, I'm talking about with headers and carburetors, slide them in the car, you can go racing. So these motors are supposed to last all year, very durable. So big change for this series. Great innovation by NASCAR to go to this spec motor to make life a lot easier on the pocketbook.
Peyton Sellers is one of the drivers here tonight competing who said, if without that spec motor, I would not be here, as he had to make his own plans after last year racing for RCR, a development situation on the West Coast, came back home and put his own money together and has Strutmasters.com for just this race in Iowa. So these guys are certainly finding it a convenience to be able to put it in the bank and say, we have enough to go racing in the NASCAR Grand National Division.
Yes, it is. The only tough part is phasing out them old motors. As a team has, in talking to the teams, if they've got 3 or 4 motors that they've been running for some time and they're open motors, guess what? We got to get rid of them. We got to phase these new spec motors in. $22,000, we can get some spec engines, and that's the only hard part.
We're getting word now from NASCAR that Joey Logano is being penalized for aggressive driving. The 10 car of Lagana will have to start at the tail end. So indeed, the instigator of this most recent caution, the young man learning the ropes, learning how far that nose can go, dialed Peyton Sellers under caution and created a caution. He now is going to be sent to the back.
Yep, unfortunately, you know, he was a little bit close there, and it's a tough break. But I tell you, these guys, this is what the series is about. It's about discipline. It's about teaching these drivers what you can do and what you can't do at certain times. And sometimes they have to do this. NASCAR has to teach these youngsters. They've got to hold them reins and say, hey, we're not going to allow this, because guess what? You start tearing up equipment week in and week out. That's a real hard thing to do.
So we'll line it back up. Double file restarts here. Elko Speedway, 3/8 of a mile oval. And we see Brett Thompson's number 81, Rich Thompson, trucking Chevrolet, stopped on the racetrack. You saw the damage. He was involved in the backstretch incident. Got plowed into him. Hats off to the safety of these cars and how strongly and successfully they're built. There's fuel cells right in the trunk area. Doesn't appear to be damaged whatsoever, but Thompson may have something going on. Let's check in with Natalie quickly. Natalie?
You know, we got a little bit of a funny story about the number 181 team. See, the team has a new sponsor, Pets Best Insurance, and their new focus is to communicate with pet shelters across the country. And their goal is to raise $1 million for shelters. The new 81 team's logo is Racing to Save Pets. Now, the funny part about this story is part of the inspiration came from Brett's four-legged friend named Bodie. Well, you can say that pets everywhere should be thanking this number 81 team for their involvement in pet shelters. Back up to you guys.
That's a great story, Natalie. As we see Brett Thompson, unfortunately, not able to give them more exposure tonight. The big logo on the hood for the first time of hopefully many, many events to come for Brett Thompson and that team. A team that has 6 full-time employees. They work out of the trucking garage area, but they certainly have their work cut out for them. This team's ready to go for a championship. Just got to catch a break.
Yeah, exactly right. Brett Thompson, again, they build these race cars. This is a composite body car. Talking to Brett today, he says, listen, I love these composite bodies. You see the fiberglass there. To fix this car, what it's going to entail is they'll take another fiberglass body and just cut that rear tail section off of that car. They'll rivet it back together, and this car is not been painted, but it's been vinyl. That's vinyl all over that race car. The original color, some of these are white, some of them are brown, and again, they put vinyl over these whole cars, so they don't even have to take this car to the body shop. He said, we've just put a new nose on this car here, but last week, took us 1 day. We cut the whole nose off, riveted it back on, took the vinyl. Normally that would take 3 or 4 days when you got to go to the body shop.
It saves you a lot of money, too, when it comes to guys hanging bodies and that kind of thing. And he was one of the first Busch East competitors to run a composite body in the series last year. Caution lights are out once again after 5 cautions. We're ready to go back racing under green flag at Elko Speedway. Sean Case and Mike Olson will bring them down in the mandatory double file restart. Leader always has to choose the bottom. That's new for this season. Right now, it's man on the point, Sean Case, to bring them back to green.
Outside. Outside.
If he had the choice, would he take it to top? The bottom seems to work thus far for Sean Case and the Casella Way System Chevrolet. Olson not done, though. Up top with a Little Tree Chevy. 16 straight years he's got Little Trees on that race car, and boy, is he putting them up front in a hurry.
Olson's starting to work that outside a little bit again. He liked the bottom. I talked to Olson. He said, I really like working the bottom here. Not sure I got what it takes to run through the middle and top, but I tell you, these past few laps, he's able to get that 61 Little Trees car to work up in that middle and second group.
A lot of great action here. The number 2 of Mike David running 7th now. Rogelio Lopez right behind him in the 03 Telemex Chevy. To the outside is the Matthews Solo Cambo's number 43 of Tim Schendel. Schendel from Sparta, Wisconsin finished 2nd in a regional late model race last year, 150 lapper, and he's certainly putting that track use to purpose here as his shop is just 3 hours away. Normally he'll travel from Wisconsin to the East Coast and all parts of the United States, but this is kind of a home race for him.
It is. Schendel, another competitor in the ARCA Remax Series, been running some of these Grand National Series. He said, I love this series. I hope to run a full series in this deal. We've really come along. The team's grown, and he's really taken a liking to this NASCAR Grand National.
And his crew chief, Tony Mitchell, helped put this car together, which was a Kerr-Bagajanian Busch Series car that's now being adapted to the Busch East Series events on the schedule.
Good race there. You see the 99 car of Brian Chu, earlier involved in a little altercation, but back underway. He's got a good race car, too.
Brian Chu started back in 23rd position, so he's really made his way in the Buzz Chu Chevrolet number 99. Back up front, Mike Olson leads, but look at Sean Case turning up the nozzle on the pressure hose to try to grab that lead back.
Olson's a little bit loose for that race car. It looks like that's why he's been running the top line here. It's a little bit easier on the rear tires if you can let that race car run up that racetrack off a corner exit. You see he drives down to the bottom here, but when he gets back in the gas, he's about a half a groove to a groove higher than Sean Case at this point.
In the chase is also number 4 of Jesus Hernandez, runs third down the Ginn Racing number 4. The lead appears to be settling just for the moment, but Hernandez, the race manager number 4, a third-year Drive for Diversity involved driver of the Ginn Racing effort. NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program certainly paying off for Jesus Hernandez, getting this opportunity in that number 4 car with Ginn Racing, who is also the team that owns the number 01, 13, and 14 Nextel Cup cars, and have Regan Smith racing with them the Busch Series as well. So a lot of good effort, a lot of great equipment for Jesus Hernandez to work with.
Jesus having one start on the east side, one start in the west. 1998 he was a Grand Am track champion, done a lot of Grand Am racing in the past. Got a good past experience in that. Been racing all his life. Real excited about the West Series and the Grand National Series. Said I hope to make my future here in the next few years.
And he finished 11th at Greenville Pickens after a late race spin, so he's been in the hunt for both events thus far in the NASCAR Busch East season. Again, we're at Elko Speedway where the NASCAR West Series and the NASCAR Busch East Series are competing for the first time during the season. The highest finishing NASCAR Busch East Series driver will get first place series points. Same goes to the West Series driver. If 5 guys finish 1st through 5th in the Busch East Series, the 6th place car is the highest finishing West Series. He'll get first place points.
Man, what a great idea. Tell you, look at 16 car Brian Eichler right behind him. He's having a good run here tonight also. Able to stay out of trouble. Good run for him.
Battle for 17th. Joey Logano making his way quickly through this 27-car field remaining on the racetrack. 83 of Peyton Sellers also spun and was in the back. Those 2 cars were running top 5 20 laps ago under green. Sellers got spun by Logano. Both were sent to the tail. They are flying to the front.
Yep, you see Kovalek, a little damage on the right side of that car. No door on the right side of the 40 car. Matt Kovalek, he's still able to drive that car. That car's good, but a little bit of aerodynamic deficiency. See the door hanging out of the 40 car, the Mohegan Sun Matt Kovalek car.
And Kovalek won the most recent event where both series played together at Irwindale, California last fall in the Toyota All-Star Showdown. So he's used to racing against these guys, but man, has he had the bad luck. Greenville Pickens running third, spins out, had a long race there, trying to get maximum points. We mentioned they score points and award points for both series equally here. The highest finishing West Series driver takes home first place points, and Kovalek wants to get high enough on the tree in the Busch East Series standings to head to the next race with the maximum points he can. He's digging a hole from 21st in the standings heading into tonight.
Yep, he's working through the field. Again, got a little altercation earlier, but he's using his head. He's a savvy race car driver, but he's a hard charger, Matt Kovalek is. Battle
for 5th here, the 52 of Jamie Hayes. Donnie Richardson, the crew chief. Ken Schrader Racing fielding that brightly colored number 52 ahead of the 2 of Mike David. That Bennett Lane Henry Ford around the series since 2002 when he was series champion. Hats off to Randy Lynch and all the guys for putting together a great program again this year.
You see a 16 car, Brian Eichler, we started to talk about him earlier. Again, this is a total success for that team. Again, they've been struggling. A good run for the 16 car tonight.
This is the battle for 3rd. Jesus Hernandez in the 4 car. The 16 of Brian Eichler trying to resurrect the Napa 16 stellar runs of years past. Steve Portengate, Austin Cameron, Peyton Sellers, all victors in this car. Top 5 runners, and Eichler trying to dig out of a hole of some very poor finishes to start the season. The team seems to be turning it around here tonight.
Yeah, they have. They've got to be happy. Again, talking to Bill McAnally, he said, man, I'm so happy we had good qualifying effort, trying to get this effort turned around. Napa's got to be happy with the qualifying effort, and he's having a good run here tonight.
Here again, the battle. Brian Chu, the battle for 5th on the backstretch. The 99 of Brian Chu. The 52 of Jamie Hayes from North Carolina.
Jamie just not able to get that car turned right through the middle of the corner. Right through here, he's struggling a little bit, not being able to pick that gas up, but he's doing the right thing. Again, as a rookie, he's got to use his head. He's got to be here at the end. Good top 5-10 finish would be a victory for that team here tonight.
And he's a Ken Schrader Racing development driver. Again, a number of these drivers in the field affiliated with NASCAR, Nextel Cup teams, and NASCAR Busch Series teams. How important is it to run well here? Brian Chu is not affiliated with anybody, but he's 3rd in points. He said, I have a great race car. The longer the race goes, the better I'll be. I'm going to wait till about lap 100 and see what happens from there. We're 3 laps away from that point.
Front, look at Mike Olson just spreading it out. These 2 cars have been so evenly paced here all night tonight. Little trouble, caution comes out, big pileup going down in 1.
Ruben Pardo, again, Armando Fitz is in the crowd to watch his development driver, spins in the 32.
Mike Duncan's involved, 9 car, again, tough night for Mike Duncan.
35 of Eric Holmes also involved, racing in the East Series.
See the leader get slowed down.
Oh yeah.
Mike Olson, that could have been big. The guys got slowed down. Again, this is a 3/8 mile racetrack. You can get around this place real quick.
Let's take another look at just the tail end of this one as we saw Ruben Pardo spinning in turn 2. We'll get the quick camera down, and we see the 35 of Holmes to the bottom. 22 of Bowles had nowhere to go.
Yep, just a big pile up there. Just see Woods.
Jeff Anton also spinning there.
His way through.
Boy, Mike Duncan is a magnet tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is. See Jeffrey Earnhardt just barely wheezing his way through there. Wow, tough break. Again, this is short track racing.
And there is Eric Holmes, the West Series champion from last year, said, I'm already 31 years old, now 32. I need to make a change. I've raced against the West. I've beat the best. Now he moved east to race with this team, the Waste Management Recycle America Ford. Eric Holmes is racing full-time in the Busch East Series to search for a championship like the Bounds and win the West and the East championships as Chuck Bound once did. We'll be back from Elko Speedway on HDNet in a moment. Just about to take the green in the Minnesota 150. The track has been cleaned. Mike Olson's hoping to clean up here. In the NASCAR Grand National Division, combination event. The Busch meets East, meets the West, and Olson, not the best of starts, just taps the curbing on the inside of the first turn, and that's all the 44 Sean Case needs to grab the lead back from the outside.
Just got word from NASCAR, the 40 car, Matt Kovalunt, has got to go to the back for rough driving, aggressive driving. You won't like to hear that.
And Olson with his hands full now. The 16 of Brian Eichler comes to life on the outside. That's for position number 2.
We're within 50 laps to go, you know, lap 104 out of 150 laps here. These guys have got to ensure that they can get up towards the front. It's time to get up towards the front. It's not quite time to charge yet. Don't use them tires up, but it's important to get up there in that top 5 if possible. Stretch out in single file. Listen to Sean Case on the radio. He said, man, I love that run. I just hope that we can go 50 more laps till the end of this deal. My car feels better the longer I go. That's exactly what it looks like here now.
Brian Chu in the 99 car in the hunt. He said, wait till lap 100. You're going to find me towards the front. I'm going to relax, lay back, and make the move. Brian Chu in the 99 car, working into the top 5, started 23rd tonight out of Mattatuck, New York, and a great run for him. Outside now, the 4 of Jesus Hernandez down the backstretch.
Battle for 4th place here. Brian Chu, he says, I need to get up there. Again, I want to be up top 5. A little bit of contact. These guys got to be careful they don't turn each other around.
Great close racing, the NASCAR Grand National Division for the past 4 years or 5 years now, raced together on a season-ending event. Didn't count for points. This is for all the marbles. 16 cars went home. This is a big point night for the guys who made the show. The higher you finish, obviously, the more points you get. But Brian Chu doesn't care about that right now. He wants to win.
Nope, look at Mike David looking in the back. Made a little contact with Jose Hernandez there going in the corner. Oh, the 51 car of Jonathan Smith gets turned around. Slows the pack down. Not what Sean Case wanted to see again. Sean said, man, I love my car on the long run. I hope we can go 50 till the end here.
Jonathan Smith out of the Beacon Falls, Connecticut area. Did not make the Greenville Pickens event, so his first series event. Bad break for him, but a great break. He just made the show. He got it on provisional, so good job by those guys.
Absolutely. Just glad to be here. Beaver Falls, Connecticut.
HDNet Performance Award leader right now is Sean Case. This race, he has led 63 laps. He's the high runner this race. The HDNet Performance Award will go, $10,000 will go to the driver in the NASCAR West Series and the HDNet broadcast events. If he leads the most laps, 10 grand in the bank. Same thing for the NASCAR Busch East Series drivers. Whoever leads the most laps on these televised HDNet events pockets 10 grand as well.
Can't say enough about that bonus from HDNet to these drivers, and that's all they raved about walking through the pits here today. These drivers said, man, what an awesome award you guys are doing from HDNet to give us drivers that a little extra bonus money. That's what racers about. That's what takes us from race to race, dollar bills.
And Sean Case is trying to add to his total. Natalie, what's his race strategy right now?
You know, the funny thing was during the last yellow, I was talking to his crew chief, Andy Santerre, and he told me that their plan was to take the outside line after a restart. Guess what? That's exactly what he just did, took the lead again. And as Andy and I continue to talk, he said that the 44 team wouldn't mind if they finished first or second. So even if Sean gets passed again, then stays in second, I think this team is going to be a happy one tonight. Back up to you guys.
There's a look at Andy Santerre on the pit box. 4-time series champion, unbelievable career. At age 37, stepped away and said, I want to do this for a living. He and his wife Sue and 5 other employees now field 2 teams out of the Charlotte area, right by the Lowe's Motor Speedway, in the Busch East Series, including Sean Case, our race leader.
Yep, exactly. And Andy Santerre is teaching Sean Case discipline. You know, they raced hard a few times, and Sean had the opportunity to win a few races. Unfortunately, they got tied up a little bit, and Andy said, listen, I've talked to the kid. I told him, you first got to be there to win races. And unfortunately, a few times last year they got knocked out. I think Sean settled down. He's getting mature. And that's what this series is about, to teach these drivers maturity to be there at the end.
And Danny finished second in points last year, so he can point and pinpoint ones that got away. He and Matt Koblich had a season-long battle. It's now settled, but boy, it was a heated deal that cost them both a lot of points. Dover comes to mind as well. And one thing I want to bring up, I wrote this down because Sean Case had a quote. He said, "My mentality for this season is settle for what I can do and not push the issue. Whenever you push the issue, stuff goes wrong."
Well, there you go. I mean, that's just, you can't put it in any better words than that. You got to be patient. It's so hard as a race car driver because we're so aggressive. We get pumped up. We pull them seat belts down. Sometimes our brains stop working. We lose our mind.
And he started last year the same way he did this year. He won Greenville Pickens last year, finished second this time around. He knows the point deal, but he also knows it's a marathon and a championship.
Exactly. We're here tonight at Elko Speedway having a great time.
This is their first opportunity to see the NASCAR Grand National Divisions here in Minnesota. What a great turnout, what a great job by the Elko Speedway staff and this beautiful facility. Thanks to Tom Ryan and the gang for welcoming the Grand National Division here to the Midwest for the first time.
Green, 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 green. Outside, outside.
Way high goes Eichler into the marbles and stays in second. We'll see how his tires can clean into turn 3. Drifts high again. Mike Olson to the bottom to take advantage.
Wilson's having a little trouble these last few laps. He's not able to get off the corner. Unfortunately, Mike Olson has not got the grip off the corner the rest of these cars do.
And Eichler a bit sideways up in turn 2 again. We'll see if that tire wear plays an advantage. Eichler's been in the hunt all day, but how much did he abuse to get to this point in the race?
Well, exactly. Again, you have to be here at the end. If your car's good, you're good. But if you use the tires on that race car, that's not a good thing. Look at the 99 car, Brian Chu and Mike Olson. Just a little bit of love tap there coming off the corner.
Well, it's obvious that Mike Olson thought to himself, I got to get to the top. It nearly cost him dearly as Brian Chu backed off to let him in up top.
Yeah, he did, and that was a smart move. Again, it could have took both them cars out, but these are smart race car drivers. Look at Jose Hernandez there in that 4 car. He's just doing an outstanding job. He's able to keep that car on the bottom. He knows he's new to this series, and again, he has to use his head.
Look right behind him on the inside. The 10 of Joey Logano. He's up in the battle for 4th. Jesus Hernandez has it. Brian Chu is there. The yellow number 2, the Bennett Lane Winery Ford of Mike David. And here comes Joey Logano, who was sent to the back for rough driving earlier on, aggressive driving, excuse me. And he's back in the hunt again. This kid is not to be denied.
No, exactly right. This could get interesting here. Again, Joey's got to go. It's within 30 laps to the end. Joey knows he has to make his way to the front. Again, being an aggressive young gun, he knows he has to fire and get through these cars, but he has to be cool and use his head.
He may have a faster race car right now, but nowhere to go here on the Type 3A Smile at Elko Speedway. Great two-wide racing all night long. These teams will pack up tonight and head to Iowa Speedway for a doubleheader weekend, but all the focus now on these final 30 circuits. Keep it in one piece. Get the best finish. And Joey Logano coming into this race at the point there now threads the outside of Hernandez.
Oh, he's got to do it around the outside of Hernandez. Hernandez staying on the bottom saying, this is my line, this is my real estate, this is where I'm saying. That's exactly what Logano did. He looked to the outside, got a little bit loose, but he drove around the outside of Jose Hernandez.
And Rogelio Lopez in the number 03 Telemex car also trying to follow Logano through there.
You see the 2 car of Mike David again, Mr. Consistency. He's always there at the end, always in the top 5. He looks at the big picture. Mike David's here to win championships, and that's what he'll do year in and year out.
Mike David is 5th. The 10 car of Joey Logano runs 6th. This kid has beat him in Phoenix in the West Series. He's won the Greenville Pickens event. Will he have enough time to challenge Mike David and the other 4 competitors ahead?
25 laps to go. You see Logano looking down at the bottom. He says it's time to go. He's driving the wheels on this race car. He's got to take care of them tires. So remember, he's got to be there at the end.
This is the lead battle. It's not one right now. 4 lengths now. Single file the first 4 cars. This is the battle of the night to watch right here. Mike David, Mr. Consistency, but he's going for the championship. How much does he push the issue in the West Series car, number 2 here? Joey Logano, the Busch East Series point leader, 16 years of age, going to turn 17, putting the pressure on. Now they get single file.
These top 6 cars are all within a half a tenth of a second. Lap after lap after lap. Neither one is really making a big gain on the other. A half a tenth of a second. That's not much.
Not closed up for Sean Case's competitors. He's pulled out now to a 4-car length lead. Andy Santerra's calling the shots. He's also doing the motor work on this car. So as integrated as he is as a driver, more integrated now as a team owner and overall overseer of the Casella Way System Chevy for Sean Case's efforts.
Listen to Santerra on the radio just a few laps ago. He said, Sean, pace yourself. Go to the end, take care of them tires, hit your marks. So important for a driver when he drives down in the corner right through here to hit the same part of the racetrack every time. Pick up the gas, be smooth. Do not try and spin them rear tires. And that's exactly what Sean Case is doing here right now.
Case now rolls to the center of the corner. He may lose a bit of ground, but it's such a great exit for the 16 car that he has no worries now. He can actually maybe take a little bit of a breath here in the corner, not push the issue because he doesn't have the 16 of Eichler right behind him.
Yep, exactly right. And the last lap time was 18, as you see, 14.87. Again, that's fast. Some of these cars did not qualify at that speed. So running an outstanding here pace tonight. Brian Eichler not able to reel him in as of right yet.
Will he have enough with the tires? If he did push the issue, will Case's lead close a bit here in the closing circuits? The same four Goodyear Eagle bi-supply tires underneath each car started the race that's going to finish it here tonight.
Yeah, they will. Again, these guys are all on the same tires, so they have to take care of their tires. Again, it's tire management. Sometimes a driver will play a little bit of head game. You can see Sean Case, he may slow down for a lap or two just to psych Brian Eichler up. Brian Eichler overdrives the car, and then he uses his tires up.
Here goes Logano for fifth to the inside of Mike Olson. The two of Mike David also in the hunt. They know it's go time. On the bottom is Joey Logano for the fourth position now, trying to get that away, and does from Mike Olson at the strike.
Logano's got to use his head. We got a spin out here. One turned around.
43 of Tim Schendel has gone around in the Matthews solo cam. Dodge. Not a bad break for him as Schendel was trying to put something together there as well. And he was running mid-pack, but again, full brace for him. The only real Midwest guy to cheer for here that has had lap experience at Elko. And unfortunately, he did a spin down. Let's get things shook out here as we have 15 laps remaining in the Minnesota 150. Back for the finish in a moment here on HDNet. The Minnesota 150 comes down to the final 10 circuits. Sean Case and Brian Eichler leading back to green. Case wants the outside groove. He's going to make his own channel, is he or not? The 16 of Eichler to the outside. He's not clear. Now he's clear. Can Santerre take him to the top and stay there?
Ryan Chu looking at the inside. The 99 car, he's been strong. He knows it's time to go. He's got to do it. We're 9 laps to go here.
Logano sticking his nose in. The door shuts on the 10 of Logano for third.
Ryan Chu looking at the bottom side. He's got a horse. He's trying to ride it. Can he catch Sean Case?
Logano's got to break free of Chu, and he's got to get to the inside of Eichler. Will he do it in one swift move down the short back straightaway? No, not this time.
Logano knows he got to get down on the bottom side. He's just been hung out on that outside time after time, but he's got to use his head. He knows he needs a good top 5 finish.
Sean Case on his own pace. Now Logano gets into Eichler. Eichler drifts up the racetrack. Anything goes here in the final 10 circuits of the NASCAR Grand National Division Racing on HDNet, and here comes Logano to the inside.
Andy Sayers there. Whoa, contact. Joey Logano.
Spin.
Turned around. 16 car, Brian Eichler.
Here comes the field. Logano on the bottom. The door was shut by Eichler.
Wow.
This is the result.
Man, unfortunate. Again, these youngsters get a little Jeffrey Earnhardt involved in that. A little bit anxious. A little too early.
Wow, we almost saw it coming. Logano tried the outside, and Eichler shut him off down the backstretch in turn 2. To the inside, he went that time, and it all broke loose.
Tough break. Again, patience, patience. They drive down in the corner. Joey Logano says, I think I'll have this line. Not sure he had it. He had a little fender in there, but I don't think he had quite enough of a fender, in my opinion, to call that his line of real estate. Unfortunate.
Gets almost to the door, but not enough.
Close. And again, he had that line. He just unfortunately drove the car down there, and I'm sure he did not do it on purpose. He just lost the nose of that race car. Did not stick. Again, this late in the race, see Johnny Borneman.
Whoa, Johnny Borneman, big hit. Real time. Here comes the field, here comes the Days of Thunder cloud, and all the rest of the cars try to make their way through blindly.
Not what they wanted to happen. These cars, luckily, did not make any other impact with any other race cars, but just a tough break for Joey Logano and young Brian Eichler.
Joey Logano is saying, what is going on? Give me a lane to race. Eichler, again, trying to search for a finish. Finishes of 18th, 33rd. Didn't qualify any better than 13th before tonight, so Eichler desperately wants to get that 16 car back up front.
Take another look at that. The drive down in the corner. As you see, these two cars are already sideways.
Logano going for it.
Just a tough break. Logano drove down in the corner, just lost the nose of that race car, slid up in the 16 car of Brian Eichler, and just took both them race cars around.
Logano locked it down, left a groove on the bottom for the cars around him, but that tire smoke was just impossible to get through for Johnny Borneman and the rest of the field.
See, just gets a nose up in the left rear corner of Brian Eichler just as they enter the corner. Really not enough there. Fortunately, fight for that real estate this late in the game. You took the chance, 50-50 chance he could have made it through there, could have charged to the front, but unfortunately it didn't work for him tonight.
It appeared to be tire to tire, right front to left rear. Wasn't enough for Logano to get cleanly next to him to get the pass.
And again, if he wouldn't have slid the nose, when we say slide the nose, is you lose the front traction of them front tires when you turn the wheel, it loses grip, and it and slides up the racetrack. When he did that, he made contact with Brian Eichler.
Under caution, number 9 here at the Minnesota 150. The NASCAR Grand National Division in the East Series. Sean Case leads Brian Chu. They are the top 2 runners. Mike David sits 3rd right now on the racetrack. He will get first place West Series points if the race ended right now.
Yep, exactly. And again, these guys are looking at the big picture. If you can't make the victory, hey, come home with first place points out of this race. That's big.
Mike David, before this race, was asked what happens if this exact scenario plays out. You're running 3rd, but you're the first West Series guy.
It's a little after the wreck, you see Logano coming up and saying, hey, man, what's up? Not sure NASCAR is going to like that.
Christmas card lists are not being exchanged in the 10 and 16 pits right now.
No, and that Joey will probably be in the NASCAR trailer after the night's over.
Logano had a great piece. We talked about Sean Case and learning the patience game.
Yep, exactly. And again, that's what these youngsters have to learn. Sean Case lived it last year, had the opportunity to win some races, and unfortunately, he learned the hard way.
Eichler, just 21 years of age, in his second full season of racing in the NASCAR Grand National Division. And
Logano coming up.
Yeah, give him a tap again.
Hey, man, what are you doing? Why you do that? But again, we as racers, we got our own view of what actually happened on that racetrack.
We are looking at the future of NASCAR racing, though. We see this 21-year-old Brian Eichler in the 16, the 16-year-old number 10 of Joey Logano, and the 16-year-old driver in the 92 car, Mark Davis. Many laps down, but boy, these kids will be heard from a lot this season and future years for sure.
Sean, Dan Partis, Jim Trado in the HD Net booth. You copy?
Hello, buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good. The question is how you doing out there? I know listening to you there about 50 laps ago, you'd have liked this race to have been over by then.
Yeah. Tell you what, Stellar Way Systems number 44 has been running great all night. Andy Santerre made a great call. He got me the call where we needed to be. We're a little off of practice, and he got right for me. So I got to thank my crew big time because they're making me look good right now. Regardless of the outcome of this race, we've had a great run, and we're points racing. So we got to finish this thing and do what we need to do.
Hey, bud. It looks like you've done an outstanding job, and again, you've got some good veterans there steering you in the right direction, and you've done an outstanding job through the year, and you're doing a fine job there tonight. So you're going to restart on the bottom here. Does that worry you at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's just a little bit tight in the center when you restart the bottom, but just got out driving. That's all we got to do.
I hear you, buddy. I'm sure you'll do just fine. We'll talk to you later, Sean. Good luck.
Cool.
Sean Case, we've got an in-car radio with him and a great chance to talk with him. What a great access to NASCAR all across the board. These drivers and teams make themselves available. Certainly want to thank them for, he could be saying, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. My helmet's down. I want to focus on what we're doing. Andy Santerre focusing on the racetrack, chomping at the bit of that gum, trying to will this race to the finish with his young driver, Andy Santerre, on the pit box. Not behind the wheel anymore, but certainly sitting alongside, living every moment with his young driver, Sean Case.
Well, I'll tell you, and as a driver, there's no better confidence builder to have somebody like Andy Santerre that's been there and done that can guide you around this racetrack and just real calm and confident on the racetrack. And again, it means a lot.
Next race, Sunday, May 20th, live here on HDNet. The Featherlight Coaches 200 from Iowa Speedway, 7/8 mile super speedway. Don't get fooled by the length. That track has a lot of speed. These guys are really looking forward to it.
See Andy Santerre there in the box, his wife, looking over his team there. And again, he's taking on another team there with Jeffrey Earnhardt. Talking to him earlier, and he says, man, I need a little bit more manpower. Starting to get wore out doing this stuff. He says, this deal's really escalated.
And his shop right outside turn 2 of Lowe's Motor Speedway. Great talent pool to pull from, obviously. The hub of most NASCAR Nextel Cup, Busch, and truck teams. And the next game on MSL on HDNet exclusively. KC at Colorado, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. This Saturday, May 19th, right here on HDNet. Chevy SSR Pace truck just ahead of the field, and Sandy certainly wants to get his tires cleaned. And notice where the oil dry is. It's on the inside line.
Yes, it is.
Until this season, you had a choice of starting inside or outside on a restart for this division. No longer the case. They've got to start on the bottom. So Sean Case certainly casing the bottom groove to see what kind of oil dry is left there.
Yep, try and get that blowed off there. And again, that's all you can do. And again, just a few laps left in this race. We'll go green, white, checkered. And you've got to make it happen. He's standing there talking to him on the radio saying, you got to get a good restart, Bubba. You can't slip at all. You got to really make this one work. Brian Chu's been on the roll. He's been charging to the front. This is going to be a tough finish here.
Brian True's first victory came last year in the NASCAR Busch East Series. Came in the 93rd in the standings. I don't think he cares where he finishes. I think he's going to have a great night and a lot to smile about heading to Iowa. And that long trek paid off from Atatuck, New York to here right now is Brian Chu looking for his first victory of the 2006 season. Sean Case and Brian Chu will bring the field to green for a green-white checkered finish. Overtime, the NASCAR Grand National Division. Sean Case gets the jump he wants. Brian Chu runs second. Mike David to the bottom now. Here comes Lopez on the outside.
Are sliding up the racetrack a little bit, that speedy drive. They come out and take the white flag.
Great restart for Sean Case. Half a lap for victory for Case. He finished second to Greenville Pickens. He now races against the best of the East and best of the West. It's champion time. Sean Case wins the Minnesota 150 at Elko Speedway.
Good job, buddy. Good job. That's the way to do it, dude. You all do.
Brian Chu comes home second. Mike David, the top West Series point finisher, finishing third. Rogelio Lopez, a surprising and substantially impressive fourth. There's the crew congratulating Andy Santerre. All smiles finally now break free from the concerned looks earlier of Andy Santerre, the crew chief, car owner, and certainly the mentor for this young man who's about to light up the crowd on the front stretch at Elko Speedway.
Oh, no damage all night. little left rear quarter damage. These guys are saying, let me get out of the way.
Saluting the fans for the first time in the Midwest, seeing the NASCAR Grand National Divisions in person. They rise to their feet as Sean Case noses up to the fence in a victory burnout.
Outstanding race here tonight. Again, what a beautiful facility. Sean Case, just the master of this track here tonight. You know, at the beginning of the race, looked like he did not have quite what it takes. Talked to Andy Santerre. He said, I don't know, we made wholesale changes to this car. Really have no idea what it's going to do in the race.
Andy told me, we have a fifth place car. We're here for the win. We got to make these changes. How impressive is that call?
That's a bold call to make, especially when they knew they had a top 5 car. But, you know, to make them changes and really not know what was going to happen. But you know what? Deep down inside, Andy Santerre knew what was going to happen because he's been here and done that before. He knew exactly what them changes were going to do.
Sean Case picks up his first victory on the season. 2 victories last year to start the campaign. Sean Case looking to get Santerre another ring for the other finger. His hand is full on the left side. We'll see what he can do in winning a 6th championship for Santerre's efforts.
Happy Andy Santerre. See, overheating in the right front when you stop these race cars and don't get any flow of water through the radiator, it just overheats. So.
They're going to push him to victory lane here at Elko Speedway, which is outside the racetrack, right in the fans' midway, right here outside turn number 1. All the fans get an up-close look. They're now going to crowd along this beautiful grandstand facility to take a peek down on Sean Case. Talk about fan-friendly. They're bringing the race winner to you, race fans.
These fans are on their feet. They're piling down. They want to be down there to see Sean Case when he climbs out of that race car.
Rolling up the ramp of victory, Andy Santerre pushing his driver's car from the window net. Rolling into victory lane, we see the whole crew now joining in the celebration and pushing his Casella System Chevy into victory lane. They're going to bring the 2nd and 3rd place cars in as well. Brian Chu and Mike David. What a great run for these young men. Brian Chu proving and backing up what he told me before the race. I've got a good car. I just need to make it to lap 100 and watch out. Here I come.
Well, Brian did exactly that. And again, he was patient is the word. Starting 23rd here tonight, just picking his way up towards the front. And that's what these young rookies have to learn all in time.
Teammate Jeffrey Earnhardt right there in the white shirt. That's his undershirt for his driving suit. Earnhardt, a teammate to Sean Case. These guys are getting along famously. And boy, what a great run for Andy Santerre, fielding 2 teams. Jeffrey Earnhardt there trying to sneak in and congratulate his new buddy and teammate here for ASM.
Fortunately for Jeffrey, he finished in 24th here tonight. Just had some trouble early, got a few laps down. Another future star of the Earnhardt family. Son of Kerry Earnhardt.
Sean Case has now finished 2nd and 1st to start the season. Last year, 2 wins, but again, he said the championship got away. Interesting to see how this plays out. Again, 1st place points, he beat the best of the West and the East Series here tonight.
He did, and again, this youngster has matured so much this year. That's what I see the big change in this team. I don't see a whole lot of difference in the way they're doing things. Don't see a big change in cars or motors, just maturity as far as Sean Case goes. Andy Santerre sat him down, talked to him, said, we can win races, we can win championships. All we have to do is this and this. And when you're young, when you're that young, it's hard to calm yourself down.
At 20 years of age, he won 2 races last year and actually got to start a bush race at Dover for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. This year, his team is affiliated with DEI. I asked Andy Santerre, is there an opportunity for Sean Case to work further in the development program? He said, we don't know just yet, but I think Sean Case is one of the hottest prospects in NASCAR right now, and he just backed it up. 21 years of age, kind of silenced those 16 and 17-year-old stories about who is the next young star. As Natalie told us earlier, he used to be the young star. I still think he has a very, very bright future.
Yep, it's amazing, 20 years old, and you got guys younger than you now. You're not the young gun anymore. That shows you where the sport has gone, and again, and this, guys, this is about being surrounded by good people. To be successful, you got to be around successful people, and I can't say that enough because it takes years and years and years off that learning curve, and some guys never ever make it there. There's a lot of good race car drivers out there that's never made it there because of the expense in that learning curve. They've never had anybody direct them and send them down that road.
Sean Case taking a drink out of his in-car system, drinking system. Remember, he's only 21 years of age, so he can now maybe enjoy a few Busch beers, but not last year when he won 2 races to start the season.
No, you're exactly right. But I tell you, these guys, at 20 years old, seems like you could go in a race car 3 or 4 hours and really not affected you, no muscle aches, no problems. When you get older, it seems to play its toll on you. So, endurance has a lot to do with it. And to be physically and fit is a big deal for a race car driver because if you're physically there, your mind's there.
Sean Case, the victor of the Minnesota 150. Our Natalie Taylor is working her way in as he celebrates with the crew. Yeah, let's check in with Natalie Taylor in victory lane.
Hey, Sean, congratulations. Got to grab a few seconds with you. Sean, what an exciting race. And before the race, at the beginning of our show, if you were watching, we asked if tonight was going to be your night. I mean, second at practice, pole leader, and you said you hadn't won a race the same time you won the pole. So let's definitely say tonight was Sean's night.
Yeah, definitely. The Casella Way System number 44 was awesome all night. Like I said on the radio, Andy made a great call to get me the car exactly where I needed it. And I'm just proud of my team, proud of my guys. We got beat pretty bad last week, and we had to work really hard to get the car better to win one of these races. And competition levels increase, and it makes it feel that much special when you can beat some of the best and from the West and the East. And you know what? We're going to Iowa, baby, and hopefully we can do the same thing. It was awesome.
Well, one of the keys to your success tonight and definitely winning this race was your restarts. Whether you were taking the outside line or just getting to jump on the other competitors, the restarts definitely helped. But what else helped you win this race tonight?
Well, the biggest thing is I've been in the series. This is my 3rd season, just started my 3rd season, and it's a tough balance between track position and saving your tires. You don't want to fall back too far and lose track position because you got to wear your stuff out to get back up to the front because we start on the same 4 tires and end on the same 4. So it takes a long time to learn that. And Andy Santerre, my coach, he won 4 championships straight doing the same thing, and I got a perfect teacher. So I'd say the best thing is Andy Santerre for me. He's an awesome guy and good chemistry between the team.
And Sean, winning the checkered flag is great, but you also were the HDNet Performance winner. You led 108 laps. Definitely took the money on tonight's race.
Yeah, definitely. To get the pole and win a race is real tough in this business because trying to get a car to qualify good and still run on a long run is really impressive. So my hat's off to my car, to my team, and to everybody on this organization. I'm really proud of all my guys.
Okay, and last question, I got to thank you real quickly, but you've got another big one coming up.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to Iowa Speedway. Did some PR stuff there last week, and it's a beautiful track that Rusty Wallace created, and I'm really looking forward to going out to that Speedway. I really like the bigger tracks, and we got a brand new car to take out there, so I'm really excited about it.
Well, no question about it. Tonight was the Sean Case night. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Natalie, and we'll see the NASCAR Grand National Divisions in action this Sunday, May 20th from Iowa Speedway. Hey, let's take a look at the unofficial results, Dan. Not surprising up front, Sean Case, Brian Chua, great charge. Mike David, Rogelio Lopez, your top 4. Peyton Sellers came back to 6th.
Yeah, he did. Look at that. We talked about Peyton. I mean, he used his head. He was patient. He worked his way back up to the top. Jose Hernandez, again, great run for Jose Hernandez. Stayed up there in the top 5 all night. Did what he had to do, kept his car on the bottom when the racing got real tough. Just a tremendous finish for him. Eric Harden finishing out 9th here. Good run for him also.
2nd top 10 finish for Michelle Thoralt in 2 starts this season. Keep an eye out for her as
awesome
well.
Run for
Chevy.
Michelle.
As we look at the unofficial results of Minnesota 150, I want to tell you that certainly we're going to be looking forward to seeing you at Iowa Speedway this Sunday, May 20th, for the Federal Light Coaches 200, live on HDNet. And what a great run tonight. Elko Speedway is certainly a welcoming home to the Midwest for the first time with the NASCAR Grand National West Series and the Busch East Series. Long pole, now a short trip down the highway to Newton, Iowa for Sunday's running. They'll be on track tomorrow Great job for everybody here. I mean, look at the crews. They're packing up. They're getting busy. We'll get one more glimpse at the great action tonight at Elko Speedway in the Minnesota 150.
Can't say enough again about this facility, Jim. Just an outstanding place. Very, very nice, very fan-friendly. Drivers like it. 2 groups to race in. But like you said, we're going to Iowa here on Sunday. It's going to be another barn burner.
Saw some great action tonight on HDNet, NASCAR Grand National Division Racing. Great action here on HDNet as we saw Pete So's come back from that spin to finish 6th. Jesus Fernandez, a great run as well. He faded towards the finish and finished 7th. But again, the battle and the race was won right here for Sean Case when these 2 contenders spun around running for 2nd. On behalf of Dan Partis, Natalie Taylor, and our whole HDNet crew, thanks so much for joining us. NASCAR Grand National Action on HDNet. I'm Jim Trado, the winner of the Minnesota 150, Sean Case.